Computer Network and Security, Unit 2, Organizational Security, Topic Name, Password Management, and People as a Security Tool. In this video, I am going to include the information about password selection strategies, password management, password protection, and vulnerability of password. It also describes the rules about the people as a security tool. Objectives of this video are password selection, piggybacking, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, installing unauthorized software or hardware, access by non-employees, then people as a security tool, and then password management. The first topic is about password selection. Here is some guide that how to make a hard to crack password. So for the cracker, how it is hard that he is able to identify your password. For that you have to remind some rules in your mind when you are going to create a password. Use appropriate length. Form a random sequence of word or letter. Add numbers to the base word to make it more secure. Use punctuation and symbols to complicate the password. Create complexity with upper and lower case letter. Generate similar but altered password. Change your password at some particular period or whenever it may have become compromised. Don't reuse an expired password. If you have trouble remembering all the passwords, try to use a password manager that can store all the passwords securely using a single master password. Try to memorize your password and avoid to write it down. Do not use the same password for everything. Do not tell anybody your password. Next concept is about piggybacking. Piggybacking on the internet access is a practice of establishing a wireless internet connection by using another subscriber's wireless internet access services without the subscriber's explicit permission or the knowledge. That means without the knowledge of service provider, internet service provider, you are able to access the wireless network of that. That concept is called piggybacking. It is unauthorized access of a wireless local area network. It is also referred as Wi-Fi squatting. A network that is vulnerable to piggybacking for network access is equally vulnerable when the purpose is data theft, disseminations of virus, etc. It is quite simple to access an unsecure wireless network. All you have to do is get into the range of a Wi-Fi hotspot signals and select your chosen network from the options presented. However, unauthorized network access, even to free Wi-Fi, that may be illegal. People have been fined for accessing hotspots from the outside businesses such as coffee shop or another from shops that provide the free Wi-Fi for customers' use. So it is better to avoid this type of free Wi-Fi network. To protect your network from piggybacking, ensure that encryption is enabled for your router. Use Wireless Encryption Protocol (WEP) if that is your only option, but if possible, use Wireless Protected Access (WPA), and the latest version of WPA is WPA2. Use a strong password for your encryption key consisting of at least 14 characters and mixing letters and numbers. Piggybacking can be defeated by logging out before walking away from the workstation or the terminal, or by initiating a screensaver that requires re-authentication when resuming. Shoulder surfing. This term, it is used to describe a person that looks over another person's shoulders as they enter data into the computer or any other device. For example, if someone might shoulder surf when you are entering your computer password, your ATM PIN number or credit card number. Criminals often use this technique to gain access to the person's account or read personal information such as the password of your email ID or password of the ATM PIN. Now see here. Here, this person is working or entering the password in this PC. So from the back end, this person wants to try to check the password. Same way here, this person is entering the password in his device, mobile, but this person is checking about the password. This concept is called shoulder surfing. Dumpster diving. In IT, dumpster diving refers to using various methods to get the information about a technology users. In general, dumpster diving involves searching through a trash or the garbage looking for something useful. This is often done to uncover useful information that may help an individual get access to a particular network. In many cases, dumpster diving involves getting data about a user in order to impersonate that user and gain access to his or her user profiles or other restricted areas of the internet or a local network. So basically this dumpster diving is a technique used to retrieve the information that could be used to carry out an attack on a computer network. It also includes the information like a phone list, calendar, organizational chart. Installing unauthorized software or hardware. One of the nightmares that many administrators face is users installing unauthorized software on their notebook computers. Organizations may want to limit the installation of applications on notebook computers that they assign to employees. One way to do this is to make sure that all users are members of the users group and not a member of the administrator group. So these are the points in which organization security breaks. Once again, piggybacking, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, installing unauthorized software or hardware. These are the few points in which organizational security breaks. Now, how to aware the security, that is called the security awareness. Security awareness is the knowledge and attitude members of an organizational process regarding the protection of the physical and especially informational assets of that organization. Being security aware means you understand that there is the or accidentally steal the potential for some people to deliberately image or misuse a data that is stored within a company's computer system throughout its organization. Now, which are the individual's responsibility for a security awareness? So, be polite and use appropriate language as an employee. You are a representative of your organization. You should not submit threatening materials or messages, either public or private. You must have to maintain the privacy of the data. That means do not pass any personal information about yourself or other persons which are the part of that organization to outsiders. Do not reveal any personal information about yourself, like your home address, phone number, photograph. Email security. In the email security, it includes your signature at the bottom of the email message. Send email only to the individuals and group to whom you know. Accountability. User should not provide their password to any person. Now, about the physical security. The meaning of access control has changed over the last several years. Originally, access control usually refers to a restricting physical access to a facility, building, or room to authorized persons. This used to be enforced mainly through a physical security guard. Then, with the advent of electronic devices, access control has evolved into the use of physical card access system of a wide variety, include biometric system, Initially, access control list involves especially the user's identity and the privileges granted to them in order to access a network, operating system, or applications. Access control authentication device evolves to include ID and password, digital certificates, security tokens, smart cards, and biometrics. Access control authentication or authorization means role-based access control. So basically there are the three main components for the security. First is abstract, that can be placed in a way of potential attacker. Second is notification systems that can be put in a place such as lighting, for example lighting, heat sensors, smoke detectors. And the third is method can be implemented to apprehend attackers. Now how to control this physical access? It is called physical access control. Physical security is primarily concerned with restricting physical access by unauthorized people, and that unauthorized or outside people are known as intruders. For instance, physical access controls for protected facilities are generally intended to deter potential intruders. For example, warning signs and perimeter markings. Then, distinguish authorized from unauthorized people. Delay, frustrate, and identity prevent intrusion attempts. Detect intrusions and monitor or record intruders. For example, intruders alarm and CCTV systems are there. Trigger appropriate incident response. For example, by security guards and the police. Logical access control. Logical access control are the tool used for identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability in computer information system. Logical access controls enforce access control measures for system, program, progress, and information. The controls can be embedded within operating systems, applications, add-on security package, or database and telecommunication management systems. The line between logical access and physical access can be blurred when physical access is controlled by the software. For example, entry to a room may be controlled by a chip and a PIN card, and an electronic lock is controlled by the software. Only those in possession of an appropriate card with an appropriate security level and with knowledge of the PIN are permitted entry to the room. On swiping the card into a card reader and entering a correct PIN, the user security level is checked against a security database and compared to the security level required to enter the room. If the user meets the security requirements, entry is permitted. Having logical access control centrally in software allows a user's physical access permission to be rapidly amended or revoked. Logical control are also called logical access controls and technical controls, protect the data in the system's network and environments that protect them. In order to authenticate, authorize, or maintain accountability, a variety of methodologies are used, such as password protocols, device coupled with the protocols and softwares, encryption, firewalls, or other systems that can detect intruders and maintain the security, reduce vulnerabilities, and protect the data and the system from the threats. Password management. First, how to manage the password. For that, you must have to remember about the password protection. Okay. So how to protect the password? So use a different password everywhere. Avoid a common password. If the word you use can be found in the dictionary, it is not a strong password. If you use a number or letters in the order they appear on the keyboard, like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, or the characters like Q, W, E, R, T, Y, then it's not a strong password. Then how to build a strong password? To create a strong password, you should use a string of text that mixes number, letters that are both lowercase and uppercase, and special characters. It should be 8 characters, preferably many more, a lot more. A character should be random and not follow from words alphabetically or from your keyboard's layout. So how to make such a password? Remember few things. Spell a word backwards. For example, if the keyword is NEWYORK, then convert it in reverse NEWYORK and write a password like this. Use 133 distinct substitute numbers for certain letters. So, for example, here this O is changed with 0. E is changed with number 3. See here, O is changed with 0. E is changed with, is replaced by 3. Randomly throw in some capital letters. For example, here the first letter is converted into the capital letters. Same way, you can convert the last letter into capital, intermediate letter into the capitals, and don't forget to add a special character. Okay. So, in place of the last letter, try to put any special character. Okay. Password selection strategies. Basically, to select the password, 2 strategies are used: reactive password checking and proactive password checking. In reactive password checking, the system periodically runs its own password crackers to find guessable passwords. The system cancels the passwords that are guessed and notifies users. it consumes the resources. Hackers can use this on their own machines with a copy of the password file. Can they get the password file? In proactive password checking, the system checks at the time of the selection if the password is allowed. With the guidelines from the system, user can select the memorable password and then that are difficult to guess. So in reactive, it works always periodically, and proactive, it works only a single time when you are going to create a password. Component of a good password. Common guidelines to make the password more difficult to guess or obtain are as follows. It should be at least 8 characters long. It should include the uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, special characters or punctuation marks. It should not contain dictionary words. It should not contain the user's personal information such as their name, family member's name, birth date, pet name, phone number or any other detail that can be easily identified. It should not be the same as user's login name. It should not be the default password as supplied by the system vendors such as a password, guest, admin, and so on. Thank you.